Well, welcome to the Power of After show. And today's show is AI for the Experienced Dentist with Dr. Robert Salvati. And we're going to explore how years of clinical experience and professional insight uniquely position seasoned practitioners to harness the power of artificial intelligence. And this doesn't just apply to dentistry. Rather than replacing expertise, AI enhances it and streamlines the diagnostics, improving precision, and it expands patient care possibilities. And Dr. Savati, he demonstrates how wisdom gained through decades of hands-on practice becomes the foundation for understanding and applying emerging technology effectively. And his message reaches far beyond dentistry, when professionals in any field combine those AI tools with years of refined judgment. You will not want to miss this episode. The result is smarter decisions, elevated performance, and a renewed sense of purpose in an ever-evolving professional landscape. So stay tuned. Power of After is for you at mid-career, half-time of life, helping you maximize your skills, resources, and experience. We have courses, products, and help to make this stage of your life your best and most purposeful ever. Don't miss a single article, free download, or podcast. Get all the latest at goalsforyourlife.com/newsletter. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Well, welcome to Dr. Robert Salvati. Should I say Dr. Robert or Rob or on
Robert or Rob?
Robert
or Rob is fine.
Okay.
No issues with that.
Okay. Thank you so much. You are in Canada and you are a very experienced dentist. We met on a backroads tour. We were bike riding, and you're quite the bike rider, quite the cyclist.
Well, try.
Yeah.
I try.
Yeah. So I'm so glad you're here because the topic is very, very interesting, using AI in dentistry, but it also applies to many other professional fields because how you can use it with experience. And I think it's so valuable. So why don't you give our listeners just a brief synopsis of your experience, and then we're going to kind of dive in on some things.
Fair enough. I'm in my 43rd year of practice, and I am a general dentist. And what I've done over the years is I've gone to many courses, university, and so on and so forth, and developed my knowledge and expertise in the various disciplines of dentistry, whether it's restorative, cosmetic, grafting, implant surgery, that kind of thing. And about 2-3 years ago, in fact, when ChatGPT released their model in November of 2022, it really caught my eye. A friend of mine introduced me to it, and I thought, this is interesting. And I was already in the process of bringing technology into the office. I had a milling unit where we could fabricate the crowns right in the office. So patients would wait for 45 minutes, and it's one appointment. And then I sort of accelerated that process and brought in all facets of technology and AI. But when you're looking at AI or technology, one thing that's very important is it has to benefit ultimately the patient, the individual. Okay, so if that allows me to deliver the service in a different way, and that kind of thing. All right.
Right.
So that's basically it. So we've implemented pretty much all technologies within the office. That's what we've done over the last 2-3 years.
That's wonderful. And for anyone who's watching the video, you can see Dr. Rob, right behind you have a screen with some teeth on it. So which will be interesting. So let's kind of dive into some of these questions we have and how AI is really changing the dental industry. Recently, I went to my dentist, and I love. Actually, I really like my dentist. He makes me laugh, which is horrible when you get your mouth open and you're getting something done. But what does this mean really for the future of dental care and how it's changing? Because this will apply to other areas as well.
Absolutely. So the biggest change that has occurred is AI helps us in diagnostics and in reading things. The other thing that it really helps us with too is, I mean, to your point, your dentist makes you laugh. You've developed a great rapport, understanding, trust with him or
Right.
her,
Hmm.
and that's essential. Um, but you know, the fewer the visits, the better off you're going to be, and it's as
Mm.
simple as that. Okay, so with AI, we can do things more efficiently and effectively, and keep visits down to minimum. In fact, if you're doing say a root canal, if you will, you can do the root canal, the crown, or the cap, as they call it, in one day. So you're anesthetized once, and it's one visit.
Wow.
So that's really helpful.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
amazing. I mean, I would love that because usually you have to have like a temporary and then
correct.
have to make everything and then you have to
Right.
come back and you have to have that
Uh-huh.
shot again and
That's right.
all that and your mouth is numb and yeah, so that's really pretty amazing that you
Well,
can.
the other thing too is if you've had a crown done, they fill your mouth full of impression material, or as my
Yes.
assistants like to call it, the gunk, where we
Yes.
take that. So we don't have to do that anymore. We have digital scanners that allow us to create an STL file, which is a three-dimensional file, and so you're not subject. Pardon me, you're not subjected to that anymore. Yeah.
That's interesting. How many dentists are really, I mean, my dentist is, I don't think they're going to probably do a lot of this. I mean, he's getting a little older. He doesn't want to retire. He wants to keep working. And I love my dentist.
Mhm.
But it's, to be able to move ahead on this. And this is a really important point, too, for many professionals. You have to be willing to invest in the technology. So, and what that takes and learning it.
That's
Is that
that,
correct?
that. Yeah, that's the second point that you brought out. That's really more important and relevant, because investing in a technology is one thing, but
Mhm.
learning how to use it and learning how to integrate into the practice, into your workflows, because you got to create a
Right.
different workflow now. You got a digital workflow as opposed to a clinical workflow. And sometimes the challenge lies in when you're bringing in the newer technology. Um, you know, I often have this discussion with some friends of mine who are lawyers, accountants, consultants, and that kind of thing. And I always say to them, we have more of a challenge when we're integrating technology, because if we have a technological glitch with the individual sitting in the chair, you can try the two tried solutions: shut your computer off, reboot it, and all that kind of thing. But if it doesn't work, now what? So
Yes.
if you're in your office, you can put that aside, get into something else, and call the IT people in. In a clinical chair, it's a little more challenging. So you got to sort of work with that. And that's where the years of experience, if you will, the analog
Right.
system, you have to know what that is.
Yes. I love that term too, because I've used analog system for years, but now it's being more
Likewise.
what
Yeah.
people are talking about it more because I've been in music. Analog is different. Digital is different. The sound sits on top of the track when you have analog. It's just different when you're
Yes.
recording.
Yes.
Digital's great, but I've had electricity go out in the middle of
Mhm.
anywhere. Well, if you have an acoustic piano, you can still keep going. You don't have to even have a mic. You can keep going. But there's certain things that's experience.
That's correct.
Years of
The sh
experience to be
the
able to
show
come.
must the show must go on, right, my
Yes.
dear?
Yes. Yes. It sure
What
does.
That's
Y-
what you're talking about, I'm sure.
Yes. And I love how you brought that the willingness to you've got to be willing to put the work in. And in fact,
Mhm.
I've got an episode
Yeah,
coming up too. The work it takes to be AI ready and to incorporate because it does take work and you
it
figure out
does.
the tools that are not going to work the best for you. And
Correct. Yes.
I try a lot of different tools, but man, if they're not going to be seamless, and if I already have something that's working, I don't have time to change too much.
That's
So,
and
yeah,
then you have to then you to your point too, you have to devote the time to determine whether the AI, the approach, the technology is appropriate and fitting for what you're doing and how you're approaching things, and
right.
that takes time. So you can
Yes.
spend a little bit of you can, and I'm sure you've done this yourself, where you spend the time, effort, and energy, and then realize
Mhm.
this is really not applicable, and you just move
Yes.
on.
Yeah.
Just move
That
on.
just happened with the tool too, and I I was thinking, "Oh my gosh," it's kind of a time sucker, and you're thinking, "Okay." But you know what? It was better for me to really go through those steps, and as a result, I can help other people through that process because I know what
Exactly.
it takes. I
Yes,
definitely know what it takes. It's like a
definitely.
cyclist going on this. You know what it takes to get through some of those.
You got to keep going.
And you've gotta keep going. You were
Yeah.
one of the ones that brought your own pedal, weren't you? I mean, what did that
Yeah,
t
yeah, pedals and shoes. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
when
definitely.
when we saw that, we thought, "Okay, these guys are serious." You know, I've
Well,
got the
we would
e-assist.
well, you know what? Eventually that's where we're going with that because
Yeah,
it's there's a challenge and time stops for no one. And that's just the
yeah,
fact of life.
and
That's
on this
just the
recent
fact
trip,
of life.
there were some good hills. So,
They were
there
very good
were
hills.
very
Yes.
good hills,
Hmm.
even with an e-assist when I was there. Well, so, we've talked about, that commitment, and will this make dentistry even more, I mean, affordable for most? Some people they put off doctor appointments, they put off dentists, some of it is just the fear of going. But will it make it more affordable, or what do we do as um, you know, clients and
Right.
individuals? Yeah.
Right. So, see, what's changing? I mean, we'll talk about um, crowns as an example, or as people call them, cats.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, initially they had crowns caps that were gold, a gold
Oh,
crown.
yes.
Okay, so we all know what's going on with the price of gold. Okay,
Yes.
and
Mhm.
that's a material that's put directly into the crowns. And gold, frankly, was always the superior material because it's malleable, so it would change as your mouth would change. So the harder materials don't do that as much. But now they've developed newer materials where you have one of two approaches. You can mill a crown. So if you allow me, this
Yes.
this is this is what it looks like before it goes into the milling unit. See, it's a square
Okay.
block,
Oh,
zirconia.
wow. Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll scan your teeth. Remember I said to you impression? This is a digital impression that we use this for. And
Okay.
then we design it in a computer rather. And then
Right.
the machine takes this,
Mhm.
it takes this, and you get to this. And if you look closely, you can see that looks like a crown there.
Oh
It
my
looks like a cap.
gosh.
Okay.
Wow.
And then it's finished and
Mm.
polished. Again, I apologize, but that's it there.
Yeah,
Crowns
hold
are
it up
small. Oops,
just a little
oh,
bit.
pardon
Oh,
me, pardon me.
oh
Yeah,
my
there it is.
goodness.
You see it there?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
So
it.
that's done all in one appointment. So if you get efficiency in time, you
Mhm.
hold costs. Okay.
Okay.
The second thing, that's a milling unit.
Okay.
So what a milling unit does is it takes a block and it forms the crown. Then there's the printer, the 3D printers,
Yes,
which
okay.
which produce the crown. Like it builds the crown up. It doesn't sculpt it. It
Mhm.
produces it. Now
Okay.
what they've developed are materials that are very effective in replacing these older materials. So I get back to the gold crown. I said to you it's malleable. So as your
Right.
mouth changes, that crown will change. Well,
Mhm.
with these newer materials from the 3D printers, you put the crown on, the same thing is occurring. So you have now eliminated, if you will, the burden of gold in a gold crown. But also you've eliminated the process and the time to fabricate and manufacture it because it's being done in printer.
That's
So
amazing.
you see how that works there? So
Yes.
just by increasing efficiencies, you're
Yes.
holding costs. And
Right.
that's the thing.
And time, and when someone shows
Yes.
up then, they
Mhm.
can have it done in one visit and not have to come back as we talked about
Exactly.
before and having to,
Right.
do all of that's pretty amazing. Now, I'm sure on your end, there's a commitment, of, bringing your office up to speed of the
Mhm.
technology. You gotta have the 3D
Mhm.
printer, you've gotta have, I mean, there's just a lot, and that's a commitment to most professionals. We have to invest in the materials. We have to be
Absolutely.
willing to invest in the materials, and it's it's another outlay. You think, "I've been there, done that." So now, having to invest more, but then it just gives you more possibility and actually kind of exciting, I would think.
Well, it is, and here the other thing too is you have to surround yourself with a good team, okay? If you
Yes.
don't
Oh,
have a
wow.
good team, you're not going anywhere, so they have to sort of have the same vision and wanna go in the same direction.
Right.
So, this is something that I've sort of looked at over the past 2 or 3 years.
Right.
So,
Right.
when you hired, say, a dental assistant, you looked at 2 things. You looked at clinical skills, okay? And then you looked at, the individual's personality, the compassion to
Yeah.
understand and relate to people.
Mhm.
But now there's a third facet to looking at, someone that you wanna bring onto your dental team, and that is technological abilities, what they wanna do. So it's no longer half-half in my mind, it's a third,
Mhm.
a third, a third, and you have to have
Wow.
all 3 to move in that direction. Because
Wow.
when people come in, they're seeing new technology, that can be a little intimidating sometimes. So you have to take the time to be able to discuss with them why it's a benefit and so on and so forth. And when you have a team that's on board and moving with you, it makes it a lot easier. No
Of
question about
course.
that. Mhm.
And I think that point number 2 with the personality is such a big part of it because if you are willing to learn the tech and you're not gonna just give up the first time something doesn't go right. I mean, that's just what it's
Yeah.
about. There's
Uh-huh.
a lot of people that will give up, you know,
Oh,
and
yeah.
yeah, it's like, "Oh, I'm just not tech savvy." I have heard that more times.
Many times. I mean, to draw on an analogy, it's when someone buys a new phone,
Yeah,
it's a lot, it's improved and all that, and you're just, "Oh, I don't wanna do this, I don't wanna do that," and like, to your point, "I don't wanna learn this new technology,
yeah.
that's not gonna work for me."
Yeah, yeah, but I tell you what, most of us learn
Mhm.
really quickly,
Yes. Yes.
very, very quickly.
Yes.
I saved the texts from my father because he learned, but he was horrible. He never proofread anything, and his texts were very, very funny, but it was so sweet to me that he was willing, to
Yes.
learn too. So that's, well, for someone now, at mid-career, because this is where a lot of my audience and my, people that I work with mid-career, midlife, we say. I don't really like
Mhm.
that term midlife because it sounds too
No.
old. But
Exactly.
mid-career is, 40-ish, 45, somewhere around there. A lot of people are thinking, "What else am I gonna do?" And especially when we went through this world of shutdowns and everything. Okay, so
Yes.
how am I gonna
Mhm.
spend the next 20 years and what am I gonna wanna do? So, with considerations there, mindsets, I'd like to talk about some of those. We've talked a little bit about being willing to learn that technology, but also health wise. Do we at mid career, those of us who are listening to this and we're listening to a very experienced dentist, what do we do to keep investing in our own dental health as well? Are there tech tools or is it just still the basics? Or what do you recommend at this point of time?
Sorry, from a patient's perspective or from a dentist clinician's
Pretty
perspective?
much from a patient's perspective
Yes.
as
Fair
well.
enough.
Yes, I think
Mhm.
that's kind of important as you are the experienced dentist, but there's more AI tools. But does that negate some of the things we're supposed to do personally, or how do we add to our own dental health?
No,
Yeah,
it does no, preventative care is key and it's essential,
yeah. Okay.
especially in light of there's a movement afoot, in the States there, and I believe, and now correct me if I'm wrong, I believe 2 states now have taken fluoride out of the water. I think Utah was the 1st state, Florida was the 2nd
Okay.
state, and there are a number of other states that are considering it. Now, fluoride was a very inexpensive way to keep cavities, caries down to a minimum. When you start taking that out of the water, you're gonna have, I believe you're gonna have an explosion of problems. So the basic preventative care is essential. So what am I referring to? Obviously, brushing, flossing, that kind of thing. Um, and then you consider strategies too, because you can't always brush and floss, okay? That's a fact of
Yes.
life.
Right.
Your bathroom is your bathroom, but once you're away from your bathroom, I'm sorry, you can't really roll out your floss and away you go.
And brush your
So
teeth.
exactly. So you start thinking about, and that this is just little guidance more than anything else. So there's certain foods that help neutralize the acid in your mouth, because it's the acid that's causing the cavities. Well, sorry. Let me just back up a little bit.
Sure.
The bacteria takes the carbohydrates, breaks down the carbohydrates. The byproduct of that is acid. Acid is corrosive. That's what causes the cavity, hole in your tooth, essentially. So what you want to do is try and get that acidic level down. Okay. So after you have a meal, sometimes people want to have dessert. There's nothing wrong with dessert. You've got to free the soul from time to time, and
Yes,
enjoying
of
yourself and
course.
indulging. Yes, not a problem with that. Okay. In fact, if you don't do that, you're going to run into issues yourself.
Yes.
So the point being that, you can have, say, an apple or a piece of cheese after you've had something like that, because that'll neutralize the acidic level
Oh,
in your mouth. So, it's not the answer, but when you're out and about at a restaurant, or engaged in a family outing, like as you said, you can't pull out your toothbrush and floss. It just
no.
doesn't work. I'm sorry, that's
Right.
just the way it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that in and of itself will help. I think AI might even help us develop antimicrobials.
Mm.
Just and that'll help the medical field in general. Okay,
Okay.
so these antimicrobials, they can neutralize the acidic levels in your mouth. They can keep in check the bacteria that cause cavities. They can keep in check the bacteria that causes gum disease, periodontal disease. The other thing we might be able to do is it might decrease the accumulation of calculus, tartar, as people know it as.
Yes. Yes.
So all these things, probably we're going to move in that direction, just because AI is allowing us to look at lots of data and analyze it quickly. Now,
Mhm.
you still need the human element to look at it and understand what the data is saying, but
Right.
the analysis is done much more quickly. You know, you don't have to, you don't have to look at multiple studies. You can literally take multiple studies, put them in, and see what comes out of it. So I think in that regard, we might be seeing something. Again, it remains to be seen.
Wow. Wow.
From
That's
a, from a,
yeah, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. I'm sorry. No, no,
Well, I
please
mean,
go
it's
ahead.
just so interesting. I mean, AI is huge on data, and to be able to do that in just such a short period of time. And I kind of I got, I got a little. I was very interested in your what was it, anti-mercurial? What note did I write down?
Sorry. Antimicrobial.
Oh, and microbial. Oh my goodness, I am
Yeah.
not a medical person, so
No, that's fine. I'm
antimicrobial.
sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. My apologies.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
but with the acid, anytime I think of acid, my dentist told me very frankly that I needed to, because I love grapefruit juice, and well, actually, I love
Yes.
grapefruit. I just love
There you go.
grapefruit, and I was eating so much of it.
Lemons and grapefruit, right? You're
Yeah, but
talking about the
I
same.
apparently I was wearing down my teeth because I was eating so,
Yes.
and I didn't have what I needed to have afterwards to neutralize that. So
That's it.
now I squeeze the grapefruit and I drink it through a straw. But also for me being aware, I think that's really important. That's a great point. If you have the education behind this, how do you neutralize that acid? Because the
That's all you
acid,
want to do.
oh, I mean, this is the first I've heard of that. I mean, that is
Mhm.
just that's an aha moment for me, especially because of the acidic quality of it. I just love
Yes.
my grapefruits. So, I'm not on statins. I don't have to worry about that. I love my grapefruits and we have trees, so there's a difference there. So, anyway, but that's wonderful with the data and with the information that you can gain, and hopefully trusted information. If you just go to ChatGPT, there's all of that. Always check the sources. I guess that's what
Right.
always,
Correct.
always do. So,
The other thing that you can look into is, when you look at your dentist, um, AI is really the AI is most effective in reading things. Okay,
ooh,
with respect
okay.
to dentistry. Okay,
Hmm.
so if this is a graphic of the X-ray on this side here. This is CBCT. This is what
Okay.
I look at. This is what I
Okay.
look at. But the program allows this to come up. So when this comes up, it's very, very visual, and we as people are great when it comes to visual, right?
Yes.
We
Yes.
can see things, we can put things together. So when you see
Mhm.
something like this,
Mhm.
okay,
Oh, wow.
you can literally see voids around the tooth. You see how that's the bone. You see how See that little concave area in there?
Yes,
That's
yes.
telling you bone loss is there, that kind of thing. You see it right through
Wow.
here? Right here. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
this is a great example right here, Deb. See
Mm-hmm.
how that bone is supposed to be up at a certain level there. That bone is supposed to be up there. You see where it's down here. So
Yes.
the visual part of it is very, very effective, even
Wow.
for myself, to be honest with you,
Right.
because AI, when it's reading X-rays,
Mm.
let me the analog way of doing it. Okay, you have to lose 60% of your tooth structure
Mm.
before it becomes visible on an X-ray. Given that has to be the only way you would see it is if I'm looking at it. If I'm not looking at it, I'm not going to see it. Okay.
Right.
The reason you need 60% decalcification is the human eye can only discern about 12 shades of gray.
Okay.
AI doesn't look at things. It measures them, digital
Okay.
densities, pixels, and
Wow.
it can discern about 250 shades of gray. That's 20-fold difference. That's not a competition. Okay,
Okay.
that's
Wow.
significant. So that's where the benefit of AI is. And in fact,
Wow.
when I'm looking at AI and it describes a cavity, I can't even see it on the X-ray. So what I typically do, and I've been doing it for decades, to be honest with you, I take a lot of pictures because
Yes.
pictures are very visual, and when
Mm.
people see a picture, they understand what you've got. The
Wow.
other thing too, from a clinician's perspective, pictures are record keeping.
Yes.
A picture is a picture. It's not, anyone can interpret a picture. I can write whatever I want, but a picture is a picture. You can interpret a picture. I can interpret a picture.
Yes.
My notes, that's a question of how I wrote it. And given that it's during the day, I can guarantee you that the penmanship is terrible. And if I'm putting it in a computer, there are going to be a lot of words missing as well. So you see how all that works?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Wow.
All right.
That's
So let me bring up one other thing for your viewing
mm,
here.
that's great. I love the visual aspect. And when you said, I think we had talked about this on our tour, and that's where I first met you.
Yes.
That you talked about the shades of gray, and I said that is fascinating because the magnification of what you could see with 250 shades with the AI compared to 12. I mean, wow. You could see
Yeah.
almost like
That's
you see
significant.
too much. But no, I mean, you can distinguish when something's first beginning. I mean, this has to be like that's a breakthrough in the medical field. If you can see the beginnings of a cancer, if you can see the
Right.
beginnings of a cavity,
Precisely.
the very, very beginning.
Precisely. Yes.
It's yeah, life
Yeah.
saving. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
not only that, if we get something when it's very small,
Yeah.
the restoration, the filling, if you will, is in
Mhm.
turn small. So
Yes.
when you have a small cavity, a small filling, you in turn preserve much more tooth structure. That
Right.
that decreases the need down the road for further treatment, whether it's larger
Right.
fillings,
Right.
crowns, or root
Right.
canals, frankly.
Wow.
Okay? So
Wow.
that's where can become a real big benefit.
Yeah. Wow, it's just fascinating, just
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
were you gonna share something else on your screen for those that are, watching this? But, we have, some other questions for you. I do,
Go ahead.
with some of the risks or the downsides, I mean, sides
Yes.
of this, you can kind of just lean on that. And we talked about that a little bit of those just going into the field and now they're just using all of this AI compared to someone with
Your your
43 years of experience.
your
So,
point is your point is well taken, Deb,
yeah.
because um A so AI in this capacity here is reading the densities of the tooth structure. So
Yes.
the benefit is when it looks at an X-ray, it looks at the whole X-ray, and
Yes.
it draws my attention to certain areas, and it gives me a
Mhm.
degree of confidence. The
Mhm.
issue, though, the risks, if you will, pardon
Mhm.
me, is you have to be looking at the structure itself and
Mm.
trying to assess why is it the density different, the X-ray density different. Okay, is it
Yes.
because of the contour, the morphology of the tooth, the position of the tooth, those things,
Mm.
and those are, and to your point, and I always say this to my clients, my patients. AI is terrific for someone such as myself because I've been at it for a while,
Right.
but there might be a bit of and this applies to all fields, by the way,
Yes.
not just
Yes.
dentistry.
Right.
The problem with the potential problem with AI, especially with recent graduates, whether it be dentists or hygienists, is they take that information as is. Okay. And with AI, they have hallucinations and things like that. So
Yes.
you can't take that information as is. You've got to look at it. And my concern going forward is
Hmm.
they, with the situation being AI driven,
Hmm.
people are people aren't going to develop their critical thinking or the visual acuity, and that can create
Yes.
an issue down the road. Okay,
Right.
that's to your point, as you were discussing earlier. That's where the knowledge, the experience comes into play because you can look at it and assess what do I have here, type of thing. So that's
I
that's
think, yeah,
that's that's right across all fields. Would you
that,
not agree with that?
yes, that word, phrase, critical thinking.
Yes,
Um, to be able to implement that takes experience. It takes,
correct.
yeah, and not to be afraid of that. Get that experience. Do the
Not
reps. Use the AI, but do not take the shortcuts on that
yes.
experience. I think that's so very important. It's I could equate this to other fields. You can equate it to sports. You can equate it to I'm
Yes,
married to a former athlete. So
yes.
it's in all fields, I think, and the medical fields and in your field, just so many fields that we can equate this with that critical thinking, common sense, not just taking the shortcuts. I think that's a
You know
really,
what? I
really good
think that
thing.
that's the most poignant word that you use in that discussion, the
Yes.
shortcuts.
Yes.
Don't take
Yes.
the shortcuts.
Right.
And you
Right.
mentioned it twice, and that is a very valid you're to the point with that. Frankly,
Well,
you really
there's a
are.
lot of people that want to do that with AI. They
Absolutely, no
want it to do
question.
the work for them, and they want to just do they're writing articles just on AI. Well, you can tell, okay? I just
You
came out
can.
with another book. It was not written by AI. It was written by me. I
Hmm.
used AI to be able to rephrase as one of my editors, actually. And then I hired another editor as well. But it helped me clean things up. But I wrote it. So it's very important for us, critical thinking, our, using that experience and building upon that. I think
Hmm.
that's what's the exciting time about this time of life. If you have experience, wow. I mean, there's just you just got to be willing to put the work in. When you're talking about the tools that you've implemented, that takes some work and it takes
It
some
does. It does
investment with
take
your
work.
office.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's some investment. I understand
And
some of that.
and
You know?
and sometimes as you have to be tenacious. You got to keep going.
Yes. You have to keep going, not give up the first time something doesn't work
Mhm.
because it's
Oh
going to
yeah,
happen.
definitely,
Stuff's just not going
definitely.
to work. It's
That's
just going to
right.
happen.
And
It's just what it is.
and 9 times out of 10, you're not really sure why it's not working, but you keep poking around and you're gonna find your solution.
Right,
That's how
right,
that
right.
works, and I'm sure
Yeah.
I think you can speak to that subject more than I can, given
Oh, yeah.
what you're
Well,
doing.
I tell you, I've been in the tech field for a very long time, and,
Uh-huh.
I've been stuck many times, believe me. So you kinda reach out to colleagues, and it's
Yep,
amazing what happens that way.
that's
I
right.
remember one day I was stuck almost for a full day, and I went on social media, reached out to one of my colleagues, and they told me one command, and it immediately it's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I could have saved myself a whole
You know
day of."
you know what's interesting, what you just referred to there? You were not concerned about someone, passing judgment on your mental ability, right?
No,
That's what
no.
you gotta pay attention to. Get
Yeah.
in there. Get
Yeah,
in there.
yeah, get over yourself is pretty much
That
what you're
period.
saying,
Thank you very much.
yes.
Get over that's even a better way to put it. Get over
Yeah,
yourself. Don't worry
because
about it.
it doesn't matter what level you're at. I talk about this, it
Uh-huh.
does not matter
Yep.
what level you're at.
I couldn't agree with you more on that
Yeah,
one because
yeah,
there are times
it's
where I'm
just
scratching my head thinking, "What is this?"
yes,
But
I know,
you
I
carry
know,
on.
I know.
Carry on.
So,
Yeah. Terrific.
well, we talked about a little bit of the trustworthiness of the
Mhm.
personalized, part. Can, how can we, when we go about care, because, insurance is constantly changing. There's all these
Yes.
things that are changing
Hmm.
for,
Uh-huh.
especially here in the US, there's a lot of changes. And when you get to certain
Even here in
stages,
Canada,
okay. Yeah.
even here, with
Okay.
respect to the dental field more than anything
Right.
else.
Right.
Hmm.
So, what sort of things do we look for in ensuring there's a trustworthiness? A lot of that is person to person, it's referrals. Referrals are
Yes,
very important, but I also know how reviews and referrals can be really misleading because they can be made up. Um,
they can. They can.
yes, yeah, I've been in that field too. So,
Uh-huh.
but how can we put together individuals put together a little bit of a safeguard and do their own research on this? Do you
So
have any?
I always say something. I always say, you heard me say, refer to it earlier,
Yes.
pictures. When you
Yes.
see it, you don't have to be like, you don't have to be an expert in dentistry to look at something and say, there's something wrong there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There's just something wrong there. So,
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, the biggest thing in my mind is
Yeah.
building trust, communication, and relationship with your healthcare professional, whoever they might be, is really important. It's essential. But
Yeah.
it's not a problem having a conversation with him, her, about
Mhm.
AI, if you will,
Yes.
AI reader, X-ray readers.
Mhm.
I mean, because the advantage of that is that's another diagnostic tool. That's what
Yes.
that is. So, so you have a conversation. So, I look at things like this. This is the old technology. See, it's a
Yes.
plaster.
Oh
This
boy.
is a this is a plaster of Paris
Yes.
model.
Yes.
Okay,
Hmm.
so that's the old model.
Hmm.
There's the new model. Okay,
Wow.
resin.
Okay.
It's a printed
Resin.
3D model.
Yeah.
We print it on the 3D. Now
Hmm.
the advantage of this is this does not wear. This stays consistent. The
Right.
other thing is when we scan your teeth to do something like that,
Mhm.
we registered it on the computer. So now it becomes part of your filing, your chart.
Right.
You
Right.
just touched on something earlier about you really enjoy grapefruit, okay?
Yes.
And then you said, "Geez, I didn't really think about the acid content."
Yeah.
So now there's wear and tear, okay?
Hmm.
Just fine. But with this newer technology with the scanners,
Hmm.
your teeth can be scanned, okay? 5 years down the road, if you say, "You know what, Rob, I'm concerned about this. What do you think?" And
Hmm.
I always joke with my patients and clients, and I say,
Hmm.
"I have a built-in bias, okay? I'm a dentist. I look for things to fix, okay?
Of course
That's
you
my
do.
go
Yes.
that's what I do,
Yes.
okay? So, I really push it back on that. I say, "Keep it objective, keep it objective, keep it
Hmm.
objective," because there is that element of subjectivity, and because I'm pre-programmed to fix things, I will fix things, okay?
Hmm.
So, what the scan does now, we can have the 3D dimension of your teeth at one point in time. 5 years later, I can take another one, overlap it, and it compare diagnostically if there's wear and tear. So I can say, "No, Deb, you're fine. Nothing's really changed." That type of thing. You see where I'm going
Wow.
with that?
Yes,
So
totally.
that in and of itself
Right.
is pretty big, right?
Yes.
So communicating with the healthcare individual, and you can communicate, but just you gotta get the feel that they're still progressing, still looking at things, still trying to understand things. That's
Mhm.
really what you wanna look at, okay?
Right.
More than anything else, because
Right.
frankly, as you know, it's really difficult, especially with this onslaught of information, it's really
Right.
difficult to even keep up in your own fields. You
Yes.
know that
Yes.
yourself, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a challenge. It's a
Yeah.
challenge. There's no doubt about that.
And
Right?
so but we need to have that personal responsibility. I mean, it's like
Yes.
being responsible for our own health. Okay? You
Mhm.
can't just
Mhm.
say, "Well, doctor, just
Mhm.
tell me what to do." I mean, you need to be responsible. If you have a little bit of a high reading for cholesterol or something, and you go, "Okay, I
What
can
it
change my diet." And
so,
immediately that will usually work. So,
so I'm gonna take a second here and show you
yes.
something, okay?
Good.
You can see that on your screen,
Oh,
can you
yes,
not?
I sure can. Yeah,
Okay.
for anyone
So
watching the video, yeah, yeah.
if you have a look, you see there's a whitening element right here? Well, I'm gonna change the color a little bit there. You see it there now, Deb? See that whitening?
Wow. Yes.
The human eye will not pick that up. That's AI that picks
Wow.
that up. So I take the X-ray,
Yes.
what the AI tells me, and then I go in there. So that's with the AI. Now I'm going to
Yes.
show you the old method. Okay, you see
Yes.
the degree of whiteness in here. So
Yes.
here's the old method.
Okay. This is very fascinating. Oh, wow.
See the, you see the
Yeah.
cavity right there?
Yes.
Sorry, this is a terrible picture. Let me get you a better picture.
Yeah.
Here's a
Yeah.
better picture right here. There,
Okay.
that's clear. That's clear now, right
Okay.
there?
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
clear. So
Yes.
you remember that white I showed you on that initial
Right.
one? There it is
Right.
there. There's the cavity that's extended right into the tooth structure. You see it
Oh
right
my
through
gosh.
here?
Yes.
So this is the old analog system. You had to get to
Yes.
this before you saw it on an X-ray. With the AI, you saw that little whitening, so it
Yes.
hadn't penetrated all the way in.
Okay.
So so
Wow.
so the advantage of that is you get to you get it, as I mentioned earlier, you get it when it's smaller. If it's smaller, it's
Yes.
better. You don't get
Wow.
into more expensive treatments.
Yeah.
Make sense, Deb?
Yes, and I'm so glad you have that monitor there. Hopefully everybody will just watch the video. Make sure you watch the video. I'll make
Yes.
sure I put that link to the video because that's very important. The advantage of video or photos or anything right now. I mean, it's almost in any field if there's video that people can see it. That's why I kind of upped my game even in the podcast and show is add
Mhm.
video because they want to see the personality. They want to see that connection and to be able to relate that way. So for the dentistry, you want to be able to see the progression is amazing. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like seeing, I had a little scan a couple weeks ago now, and to where, I have preventative things going. So they were looking at my heart. I was fascinated looking at the pump and
Mhm.
it was like, ooh, it's really pumping. I mean, don't even think about it.
Yes.
But
Yes,
to be
yes.
able to see some of that to be able to, have some, if there's anything wrong, is so valuable. So
So to your point, okay? Without that procedure that you just referred to,
yes,
how do you know what's going on underneath? You can't.
yeah,
You don't
no,
know, right?
no,
So AI will see things a dentist can't.
yes,
And what you were doing with your heart analysis,
hmm
the same thing. Your cardiologist would look at it and say, "Well, maybe you got something going on here. Why don't we just do a scan, a screen, or whatever it
right,
was referred to, and then literally can see it." Well, the
right,
cardiologist, when he sees it, he or she sees it. That's far different than the assessment based on you know urinalysis, blood
mm,
analysis, and so on
right,
and so
right,
forth. So
right.
that's your point, really, right?
Right, right.
Mhm.
And the expertise to read that and to know,
Yes,
like
yes,
your expertise to say, and that's those 43 years of experience that
yes.
right away what needs to be done and to be proactive. And I think that proactive, if there's anything anybody wants to take from this, is, to be proactive, not be scared of AI, to be able to encourage those
Mhm.
around us and ourselves to be able to use it more, not to be stymied with it, use those, your go back to your critical thinking, go back to, developing, and it just takes work to be able to do that.
It takes
So,
work. Yes, it
yeah,
does.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this has been fascinating. Thank you so much.
Thanks for
And
having me.
oh, it's just wonderful. What is kind of a parting word that we can give everyone as they've listened to this and maybe some people are listening to it thinking, oh, yeah, I really need to make a dentist appointment, or, I'm a little behind on this, or, whatever. But what sort of encouragement will you have for listeners in an episode like this, focused on AI as well, for those
Mhm.
mid-career people that are maybe embarking on something a little different, or maybe they're just enhancing the field that they're in now. So what would you suggest for them?
The real challenge I'll say over the last 3 years, and I
Mhm.
touched on it earlier when ChatGPT released their app in November of 2022. It's
Yeah.
only 3 years. So if you think about how much has changed in 3 years, it's
Yeah.
astounding. It's astounding. And the amount of resources, whether it's
Mhm.
monetary or time, that's been poured into that field.
Mhm.
So there's a lot coming out. You hear something almost every day, every second day, and it can be
Right.
overwhelming. It can be truly overwhelming, and I'm
Yes.
sure you can speak to that yourself.
Yes. You can.
It's
I can.
really
I
okay.
can. Yeah.
Yes. So you got to sort of you want to take a deep breath because yes, it's coming at us fast, but you still have time to think about it, look at it, decide what you want to do. It's not like
Right.
if you don't make this decision today, tomorrow you're going to be in big, big trouble. Well,
Right.
that's not really the case, as you know, and you know what I'm
Right.
referring to. So
Yes.
so don't get overwhelmed by all because
Right.
they the tech industry, the app industry,
Mhm.
there's a purpose for them to create that kind um, of environment, if you will, because
Right.
how many people will purchase an app or go to an app
Oh,
and
yeah.
not really know what they're doing, and then they open up their computer and they have 200 apps sitting in their computer,
Right. Right. It's like a gym
right?
membership. They never go. Yeah.
That's right, right? So
Yeah.
so the bigger thing is and I like what you said about reviews. Sometimes reviews can be a little misleading because
Yes.
I'll just leave it at that. That's
Yeah.
your field and you know what
Yeah.
I'm referring to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So reviews are important to give you some direction to see what's going on. Referrals are always the better approach because the reason being is because you know
Right.
who's giving you the referral. That's
Yes.
really it. Okay.
Right.
If your husband or wife gives you a referral about AI assisted dentistry,
Mhm.
you'll know that, okay, I trust their thinking. I trust what they do. Let me go in and check it for myself type
Right.
of thing.
Wow.
So that would be it effectively.
Good. Ah, that's great. I mean, it just hopefully this will quell some fears on this, especially for professionals that have been in their field, because all of a sudden you're
Okay.
thinking, is AI going to take over my field? Well, no, you just need to learn how to use it and or how to enhance your field in that. There's so many possibilities. But
So
yeah, but it takes some work too and some guidance.
takes work.
Don't shy away from the guidance. Do your homework. I'm
So
constantly listening, constantly studying myself as well as helping others. But it's important for me to kind of keep up on some of it. And really, I'm not going to be equipped in every single field, but I'm
not a
equipped in the
chance.
systems and I'm
Yep,
equipped in how to learn and how
exactly.
to grow and
So
how to
your
change.
point is well taken because this is the line that I use sometimes because people will look at it and say, "What you're doing everything that AI is telling you to do?" I said, "No." So I always say this is and I was talking to a patient, an individual, and they were asking me those questions. So I said, "Here's my philosophy. If you don't use AI as a tool, you will be the tool. That's
Oh,
it."
wow. Wow. I lo
That's
that
isn't
is
that?
a
Would you not
quotable
agree with
phrase.
that?
Yes, yes.
So I
Yeah.
just that sort of came off the top of my head, and I said, "That's a good way because you yourself as well use AI as a tool. But if you
Mhm.
don't, you're gonna have an issue with that longer term. That's all.
Yes. Wow, wow. That is great quote, and, hopefully people will be encouraged now to, move
Stay
ahead.
stay informed. Stay
Stay
informed.
informed, don't be
And
scared about it, take your time a little bit.
that's right.
Um,
Take your time. Don't be
yeah,
overwhelmed.
don't be
Absolutely.
overwhelmed, that's a big, big
That's it.
deal, so
Perfect. I couldn't agree
well,
with you more.
thank you so much for being with it. This was fascinating to me,
Thank you
and,
very much for having us. I really enjoyed our talk today. If you need
yeah.
anything more or anyone else, just let us know. We'll
Oh,
go.
that's so great. Well, I will put a little bit of your information in, but you're not somebody that, you know, people are not going to hop on. It depends on
No,
where
no, I
they're
understand
at, but
that, but
yeah, yeah.
sometimes they'll have, they'll inquire about one or two things. That's never an issue.
Yes.
I,
Oh, that's
I
great.
always, I always say, knowledge is power, and the dissemination of knowledge is a
Right.
privilege. Is
Right,
the
it
way we
sure
look at
is.
that.
Well, your
It is.
website, everything will be in the show notes, and we'll have a nice synopsis, also an article that'll come with this with some
Thank you.
resources. So make sure everyone, all our listeners, get that with our Power of After show. It's such a pleasure being with you, and our audience are those, or at least our target audience, are those at mid-career, halftime of life. Many people from different stages of life listen, of course, but that is the crux. A tough time for many, thinking of what am I going to do next, or how am I going to
Yes.
expand? Yeah, and all of that. And it's so great that you are. You are a thriving dentist. You're not retired. You
No.
are definitely, and you have a great office because they've communicated really well with me. So I'm always, I'm always up on that. That's great. I love that.
Good.
So
Thank you. That's very nice to hear that. I'll share that with my team because they
yes,
like to hear
definitely
things
do
like
that.
that. Thank you very much.
And thank you everyone for listening. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Terrific being with you. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Okay, so bye-bye for now.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for spending time with me today. I love bringing you insights to help you maximize your skills, resources, and experience at mid-career and beyond so that you can make your next chapter your most impactful and purposeful yet. I'm Deborah Johnson, and I can't wait to be with you again next time on the Power of After show.